Big run right here by Bijan. Breaking tackles. Downfield he goes.
Not a successful area for them.
3rd and 2 out of the backfield. It's Hill. Oh, he got by 1. 3rd down 8. Going deep, and he has the completion. Into 6 defensive backs. He'll swing one to the 10. It's Hill.
Hey guys, Anthony Testino, contributor for Eric Smith over at YouTube. Dolphins win 34-10. Fun game. All 3 phases played well. Everyone showed up. Don't really have too many complaints. Was fun to see the usage and the changes, and they kind of got away a little bit from the status quo. Multiple running backs getting carries, a lot of guys getting snaps on defense. The young guys playing well and making plays. Waddle continues to light it up as, de facto receiver 1. Tua look, like Tua should. It was fun. It was fun. Like I said, don't get me wrong. Like, being 1-6 and moving to 2-6 doesn't, I'm not jumping over the moon and thinking that we're gonna, put together this crazy run and, end up being a playoff team or anything like that. But I've said it, in the past earlier this year, like, I'm not gonna root for this team to lose. Like, they're gonna do what they're gonna do regardless. And when change is needed, change will come, whether it's now at the end of the year or the following year. I mean, have my opinions, but this is my favorite football team. I want them to win. I'm not really gonna veer off of that and change that. So when they do, I'll appreciate it. So we're gonna get into the film today, and I'm gonna kind of continue what I was doing last week, which is just picking and choosing some things, and maybe watching maybe with more of a focus on some of the younger guys and the development there. So we'll see what we get into, and hopefully it's as good as the score was. So all right, buckle up. Here we go. All right, so this is the first defensive snap of the game. 1st and 10, Falcons on their own 32. And showing this because it just sets the tone. And, I missed a little bit of the first quarter. I was driving home from work. But reading the play-by-play and seeing, 1 yards, 2 yards, and getting stops and not opening up with, like Bijan Robinson carries for 12 yards. It was kind of like, okay, they showed up again. So getting here to the tape and seeing this is nice. I mean, look at these guys here again. Nobody getting pushed off the ball. Everybody kind of, at least at the line of scrimmage and stalemating the point of attack. Bradley Chubb driving his guy into the backfield here and eliminating anything getting further outside than this without losing tons of ground, and running backs don't want to do that. So you're kind of forcing his hand to stick his foot in the ground and try to find something here, and all these guys are ready for it. Sealer's Sealer's here in good position for the cutback, and we get a stop here. So right off the bat, just good stuff. As far as the run defense goes, picking up where they left off last week. You got Phillips, Benito, Sealer. Like I said, look, everybody's here. There's not, tons of displacement in lanes. And again, this is an offense that's run the ball really well, especially when running outside. This is how they just destroyed Buffalo. And like I said, Miami was up to the challenge. So first play, first defensive snap of the game, they let them know that they were there to play. It's good stuff. All right, so this is the next play, and this is a little different than what we've seen all year. Even last week when the run defense was good, a lot of it was was being stacked up at the line of scrimmage, or defenders, and more specifically D-line and edge guys pushing guys back into the backfield, making a play. You have your corners, right? They've been involved for majority of the year when they have no receivers to their side. This was fun to see here, watching Jordan Brooks shoot gaps and make plays in the backfield. I don't know where that's been all year long. I don't know if there were changes made to allowing him to do that, giving him more freedom. I don't know if it's because of the formation and the fact that the quarterback is not a running threat. I'm really not sure what the difference is, but this happened multiple times in the game, and this is what we want to see more of. Like, Zach gets bumped out a little bit here, because he gets double teamed, but Jordan shooting that, and getting in quick does not allow the center here to get up to the second level, which is what he wanted to do. So Jordan, jumping that and flying by is what blows this play up. So, I mean, again, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the eligibles, because once Pitts leaves, you have three guys over there to take care of the trips and the bunch. And then, one of these linebackers would be responsible for the running back, and one would be the quarterback. But again, if the quarterback is not a threat, are we freeing up the linebackers now to go? Or was there just like a talk between Anthony Weaver and Brooks, or in the linebackers in general, and like giving them a little more, green light and say, listen, we're going to go and play super downhill because we have to? Or is this something that is strictly a Bijan Robinson thing, because obviously we don't want him to get going? So yeah, this is just one of those things, I'm going to be super curious about going forward, if this is something that continues, or if this is like a 1 week thing. But obviously I really hope we get more of it, because it was good. You said there's Sealer getting double teamed, but with Jordan being here instead of back here, this dude doesn't have enough time to get him. And there you go. So yeah, again, first two plays, letting them know that we're here, and instead of us being in for a long day, we're going to make you work for it, Bijan. Good stuff by the defense. Why not? We'll just show the entire first drive here. So again, this is something that they did a little bit more lately. And right now you're in technically your big nickel, because Minka is a safety. But he's kind of turned into like your nickel corner in a way, right? So it's like your nickel, but it's like your big nickel. I don't know, it's kind of weird, right? But they have three safeties on the field, and they've been doing this more, where they put Jalen Phillips here in the inside and rush him from an interior spot. And he's having a lot of success rushing against guards and giving them some problems. And again, that's allowing Weaver to run his games that he likes to run up front, instead of asking inexperienced and less athletic guys than he had with Calais Campbell and maybe Deshaun Hand, and going back to Christian Wilkins and Sealer dominating that way. So here, good pass rush. I mean, ball gets completed, but you're hitting the quarterback, after stuffing the run twice. Again, you're letting the offensive line know we're here to play, and you guys better be ready. So watch it here. Phillips here, and then Jordan Brooks starts off out in the edge and loops around through. And again, Phillips wins, gets released by this guy because he catches the looper too late, and literally now you got both of them hitting Kirk Cousins as he's letting the ball go. So good start by the defense. That's what you want to see, especially when you're on the road. Just wanted to show this real quick. This is a 3rd and 3, and when you are playing fast and physical, this is the effect that it can have on a quarterback. So look, we got 4 guys showing, and Phillips here is playing around in the middle here and looking like he's coming too. Right, so this is kind of what Kirk is wondering. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Look what Miami ends up doing here. Rush the 2 edges. You dropped out the 2 interior guys here, and you had Jalen Phillips spy Kirk Cousins. You tell me, does it look like there's really anybody to worry about from a pass rush perspective for Kirk? These guys got this locked up. These guys got this locked up. That's it. But you have Kirk running to escape the pocket, thinking there's pressure. Now, maybe some of that is because Kirk hasn't played ball in a little bit, and it's kind of rusty and still getting the feel for things. But, again, when you do things early in the game that cause the quarterback to feel a little, antsy and skittish, and you put a good hit on him, this is what it can happen here. And granted, you look around, there's nobody open, but he could have stood back in the pocket all day long and waited maybe for somebody to come open. But instead, he leaves for almost no reason and gets forced into a throwaway on a 3rd and 3. So again, defense doing a great job of setting the tone early, and then I haven't really seen Weave do too much of this. So, something different look. Really good start to the game for the defense. So this is Bijan's fumble. Still not sure how he lost this or why he lost this. I was looking to see if maybe somebody got a hand on something. Chubb tries, but I just think he loses it. But what I want to focus on here is Kenneth Grant. Like this is a block where they're running zone left, and the center's got to get around, and KG just continues to work him back and win that one-on-one to the point. The only thing the center thinks he can do is just basically rip him down to the ground. He's got his hands outside of KG, right? I mean, right from the get-go. His hand is way too far outside, so that's the start, and then tearing him down. Just, again, good stuff from KG. Quick off the ball. Good leverage. He's getting better, folks. He's getting better. I know we've seen this plenty of times at this point now, but this was a good play, man. This one fired me up. So there's Trader, and the way he's been used so far this year, he's kind of been in the box more. He's covered some tight ends that a little earlier in the season he was manning up tight ends, but he's kind of been used like a little bit, doing like a little bit of everything, right? Like kind of like a jack of all trades sort of deal. And here, he's in a little bit more of your traditional safety role, and he does a damn good job of getting a beat on this. Now, I'm not going to, lie. Kirk's eyes says he's going here. This is what he's reading. He never looks, and the other way or takes the safeties away or anything like that. Which, I mean, I understand he's reading these defenders. I mean, in order to do that, he has to watch them. But again, Trader gets a good jump on it. He's got good depth and takes a good angle. I'd like to see him, maybe play the ball a little bit better with his left arm, and it's just a weird way to break up the pass. Not to nitpick because, the final result was excellent, but just a weird way to play that by getting outside and then it's like his head and shoulder dislodge the ball. Again, not gonna beat him up for it. It worked, but I would just like where are your hands, but yeah, again, good play, and the young guys are starting to show up and play fast and, make some plays, make an impact every week. So, yeah, good play by Trader. And, he's one to be excited for, in the future. They noticed it real quick, once they got him in the building. And you can see the flashes of it. And, this being one of them. So, good stuff. So in the beginning of the year, it was Phillips that was getting close, and people were like, when's he going to finish? When's he going to finish? Man, this guy, and we saw it a few weeks ago, right, against, the Chargers. But now it seems like it's Chop. Chop's starting to get close and starting to heat up a little bit with his pressures, it seems like. I have to check the numbers and see if they match up, even though, again, the film doesn't lie. Numbers very much so can, but I'd like to see kind of what his pressure numbers are and stuff. I'm going to look into that. I'll probably end up tweeting those out at some point during the week. But yeah, here, like, outside, cuts inside. Again, this is where Chop, he's good. He was good the moment he walked in the building with this. But what we need to see is where are the counter moves, the technique, the hands, that kind of thing. But that hard step outside and cut inside, like with his athleticism, like, yeah, it's lethal. Speeds Kirk up, inaccurate throw, doesn't even have a chance. But, and that was on 4th and 4, 24-3. So Miami's got a nice lead. And the edge rushers have the ability here to, pin their ears back and go. But this is what you want to see in those situations. This is why you want to get teams behind and in throw only situations, so you can let your guys go after them. And Chop takes full advantage here. And again, that's nasty. That speed, that athleticism, that's a problem for for tackles. He played a little bit more this week, too, as far as snaps go. Played a little bit more last week. Not a ton more, but you can see that there's maybe a little bit more of a conscious effort to give him more snaps. Guy can't develop if he's not on the field. So, good to see, and hope to see more of it going forward. So, again, here, Trader ends up in more of like your traditional safety role here. Ends up being like too high with, I think that's Rasul down here at the bottom. Yeah, it is. But the Falcons do a good job of picking up this blitz here. You get two guys coming, picked up. So Kirk, he slides left in the pocket to buy himself time and give him a clean look. He's got a clean look. I mean, this is as good as a pocket and, setup for a quarterback as you can ask for. And off the line, he does, I think Mooney gets, he does get Storm duck. I do think Storm might be in a little bit of like a trail role here, knowing that he has help over the top. But he gives him the inside release, and he gets going. What I'd like to see Trader do here, if you watch him, so he's in a sprint back, and it's a little bit of a tough ask, right? Like, he's turned inside, sprints back, and this is like literally what they asked the guys to do at the combine. Like, sprint back with your, with your head inside, flip your hips, turn, then get back outside. Like, it's a perfect combine drill, or it's the combine drill. I'd like to see him, see how he comes flat here and then starts to come back out. He ends up in great position. Now, listen, in a big game against, the Chiefs or one of, the NFL's other beloved teams, I wonder if they would call that against the rookie, not on a day when, Miami's got momentum on their side and they're letting them play a little bit now. One of those things where it's like, as a rook, he's going to look at that and think, like, I probably came too flat, because if he actually turns and continues his depth back here, he actually might be in position to end up picking his ball off. Again, not trying to nitpick, and definitely not beating him up for a play where the result ended up being a good thing. But, listen, we're always looking for ways to improve, always looking for ways to get better. That's one that, again, would like to see a little bit more of a better angle and maybe hitting a different landmark and, and reading the trajectory and the route better. But overall, again, dropped incomplete. He was there, stride for stride. It's good stuff. So these are the little things that I've been, talking about because they're the fundamentals. And earlier in the year, this defense was like doing none of it. They'd be out of position. Their, eyes are in the wrong spot. Playing with, a lack of discipline just across the board from like half the guys on the field. Giving guys free release. Not understanding, zones and their coverages, not getting hands on guys. So I watched this play and right, out loud, I was like, good job, Chop. Like, that's what I want to see. So you watch Chop here, he's going to drop into coverage. This is what I want to see and what should be done. Look what happens. Look at that. Now listen, ball's complete, ended up being, nothing on this side. Kirk doesn't even look this way. But if he had, and say he wanted to go here, Chop does an awesome job of getting hands on and knocking this guy off within the 5-yard threshold. And he almost knocks him into this other dude. I mean, they do touch. So, I mean, if Kirk was looking to go down here, I'll tell you what, he probably would have moved off it pretty quick just based on that. Again, it's the little things. If you do all the little things, they add up to a bigger thing. Just good stuff. That's exactly what you want to see, and that's exactly what we should be doing every play that it's possible. So, yeah, for me, that was exciting. That's good stuff right there. Because, again, these are not guys that you typically, you're not drafting Chop Robinson or putting him on the field to drop into coverage, right? Like, you draft and you put Chop on the field to rush the passer, mostly, and you hope that he can develop, the rest of the skill set of being an edge, like defending the run and those types of things, right? But this was awesome. I mean, it's an awesome job. It's perfectly done. It's exactly like when you teach it, that's what you want to see. So, yeah, for me, like I said, I know, I was excited about it. I know it's little. I know it's something that didn't matter, but these are the things like when you look at the tape and like when Chop's in the room, they're going to tell him that's a hell of a job. And it is. He almost takes out 2 receivers with his bump. Awesome stuff. It's pretty easy to tell, when guys are just having, their game, right? They're, when they're feeling themselves, when they just make play after play, when they're always in the right position, it seems like. And it's because they're playing with effort and they're doing all the right things. And here, you're going to get a bubble, and these 2 guys here are going to try to block. And watch the way Trader plays this. Full speed, attacks the outside, making sure that he can push the receiver back inside to where he knows he's got help. And he attacks it. And, I mean, I'll tell you what, the receiver, for being in the position that he's in and the angle, he right now is inside of where Trader is. And Trader's coming with some pretty good speed. And he's a tough little SOB. We'll say that. And for him to actually get, around and do a decent job, and it looks like maybe he's holding a little bit. I don't know. His arms are a little outside. They didn't call it, so they thought it was fine. But again, Trader, he does his job, man, and this was kind of like the Trader game. He made a lot of plays. Again, he got tested deep in coverage. He made the play on the sideline on the corner route. Here he's doing this and playing this very well by getting outside, forcing Pitts to cut back up inside, right? I mean, you look like he wants to go outside and realizes oh, can't do that. So now he tries to spin off because Trader actually gets a hand outstretched and sort of on him and forces him back in. And this really doesn't get all that much. It ended up with 2 yards. We'll take a look at it from this other angle. Boom, shoulder, and then nowhere to go. Again, do the little things, and as long as everybody else is playing fast, hustling, and giving effort, you can get it done, and you can play damn good defense. You do not need all the talent in the world. If you do the little things right, you play technically sound, and you hustle. So, yeah, good stuff. This felt like the Dante Trader game. All right, we got 5 minutes left, fourth quarter. So this is probably going to be the last one I show. We'll wrap it up here. Good way to end it, player-wise. This is where Atlanta scores a touchdown and, finishes off with their last points of the day. And so 34-10 win, good stuff. But here, just before they do get in, you get the center here. Oh, apologies. It's the right guard here. Take a little stab at Kenneth Grant. Try to help this block from the tackle get inside and reach Kenneth Grant. And he does a great job of using his length and his arm there to keep him at a distance. And gets this dude off balance with strength or something, and just, I don't know what it is, but he gets him down to the ground, and he's part of the tackle with JP. Again, I mean, if we go back and think about the way Kenneth Grant played in the first month and a half of the season, right? Saw him getting pushed back. We saw every double team that they threw at him. He ended up 5 yards, off the ball and wherever they wanted to take him. Made almost no plays and really was a detriment to the defense, specifically in the run defense. And now on a weekly basis, right? This dude, throws an arm at him, and this is to help delay his movement so this guy can reach and get around here and block him off. And KG uses some athleticism to kind of not give him so much of his body and get rid of that arm and not let it affect him. And then here, left arm on the shoulder pad, and this dude just either wasn't expecting that or, whatever it is. I don't know. I'm not even positive that looks like. So that's Elijah Wilkinson. Actually, I mean, I know of him. I can't say that I know too much about him. I'm not sure what the quality kind of player he is, but again, Atlanta's run the ball very effectively and run outside very effectively to the left and to the right. So he's got to be doing something right, unless, this is a backup that I am unaware of. And if, I am off on any of that information, I apologize. But KG, man, it's a damn good job. Again, JP makes the tackle, and maybe KG doesn't get there and make the tackle if Phillips isn't there. But it's good work, man. And again, like I said, if you go back and think about, how things looked early in the year, it's just night and day. So again, we're starting to see why these guys have been drafted, where they were. This is 2 weeks in a row now that the young guys are making plays. The run defense is stepping up. They're not getting blown off the ball. They're winning the point of attack. Again, they're doing all the little things. Looks like Kyle Pitts got away with a little bit of a hold there. Absolutely. Probably could have brought that one back. But yeah, 34 to 10, 34 to 10 final. Good showing by the defense. Good showing by the offense. Not going to get any complaints from me. It was nice to get a win. Even if we only get, a handful this year, it's nice to get them. Again, I'm not going to jump for joy. I'm not going to say we're coming back. I'm real about this situation, but it is nice to get, wins. It does make for a better Sunday afternoon. So, I applaud them for not quitting and, finding a way to give, some of the fans some joy here. So, hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to keep kind of doing things this way as long as, you guys want me to. If, like I said, I always tell you, if there's anything you guys want to see specifically or any, if anybody's curious about anything, if you say something and it sparks my interest, maybe I'll take a look at it and maybe I'll make a video. So, by all means, bring in the comments, questions, concerns, and, let's go. Fins up.
They got a big run right here by Bijan. Breaking tackles, downfield he goes.
Not a successful area for them.
3rd and 2 out of the backfield. It's Hill. Oh, he got by 1. 3rd down 8. Going deep, and he has the completion. Into 6 defensive backs. He'll swing one to the 10. It's Hill holding on.